Hey, it is episode 50 of They Talk Funny. Please join me with my fantastic guest, the amazing Ben Miner, aka Ben, because he just got the first name too cool for the last names. In the chat, welcome Ben Miner. This is the 50th episode of They Talk Funny. I'm so happy that you agreed to be part of this. I've been very lucky with who all I've been able to talk to, but you are very important to the Canadian comedy scene. I mean, as the host and driving force of SiriusXM's next top comic, or Canada's top comic, you are, and congratulations are in order.
Yeah, buddy. I got engaged.
You got engaged. You put a ring on it. You've also 160 pounds. How long did it take you to lose that?
So yeah, my biggest I was 320. I'm about $160 now. My biggest was probably at around 21, 22 years old. Lost a bunch of weight, put some back on, not nearly as much. But August 2018 is when I really did the final push. So at that point I was probably about 230, and I dropped down to my lowest I got to was 143 at my leanest. Yeah. It's pretty, and that was like fit lean too. I'm about 160 walking around now, but if I like go hardcore, I can get down to about 140.
Congratulations on that.
Thanks, man.
I know that through COVID, I think I've ballooned back up again. I got down to 180 for a little while, and then it's just been.
Well, you've known me for a while. Like, you're one of the people who's known me throughout like most of my comedy, so you knew me like at my biggest.
Yeah, I think we first met in Ottawa back.
Yeah, buddy.
In the late 90s.
Yeah, man. December 9th, 1998. That's when I started.
So that would have been within your first year. I shouldn't be whistling into the mic like that. You kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at remembering the dates, but you've always okay. As an outsider watching your stand-up comedy, by the way, anyone that's tuning in, please just drop some comments. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Ben you've always been sort of like a storyteller with a very definitive angle, your own personal look on things. You're very charming on stage. And
thanks,
you've got
man.
that laugh as well that sort of just draws everyone in.
Yeah, that's one of those things. It's like a burden and a blessing. It's always there, and some people think it's put on, and then sometimes like it comes out when I don't mean for it to, and I look like an asshole. Like, whatever.
Well, at the funeral, it was a little awkward. Were you born in Quebec and raised in Ottawa, or
no? Born in Ottawa. Born in Ottawa, born and raised, went to French school up until college. Yeah, man. Then moved to Toronto 2003, moved back to Ottawa summer 2003, moved back to Toronto 2005, and that was April 9th, 2005, and I've been here ever since.
Amazing. And now what year did you start with Sirius?
That was officially, well, I spoke at the CRTC in, I believe it was October of 2004, and I was officially on the payroll as an employee September 1st, 2005.
But you had already been sort of participating?
Yeah, I spoke at the CRTC. I gave a speech. It was pretty cool. I wound up in the New York Times.
Yeah, that's kind of important. Now, how would you, though, describe your comedy? I know I sort of pegged you as a storyteller with a unique perspective, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm like, I come across dumb, but I'm kind of smart. Like, it's like kind of like a stoner logic where I kind of present, I think I present a little dumb, but there's a bit more intelligence behind it. And I think it helps me in that it's a little bit disarming.
Yeah, you're not condescending at all when you're dropping something smart, because it seems like you're discovering it at the same time as the viewer.
It's surprising for them.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, he knows that? Yes, I do. Ambulatory means you can move around.
Now we can't not mention. I mean, even with your weight loss, your love of food, your love of
Yeah,
good food, which your grandmother.
yeah, she's a badass cook. She's the greatest cook ever. And she's the first person I ever cooked for, man. I was like 12, 13 years old. I made her stir fry. And French Canadian lady, she said, Je sais pas qu'est-ce qu'il a fait de ce maudit, mais c'était bon. So I don't know what the little bugger made, but it was good.
And that led you to what was it?
Masterchef.
Masterchef Canada.
Yeah, man.
Masterchef
Season
Canada.
one. Season one, top 16 finalists. I got on by making milk and cereal from scratch.
From scratch.
I made the almond milk. I made the flakes. I made the clusters. Yeah.
Wow. Now, your fiance.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously this is somebody you must have cooked for.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what was the dish that you most wanted to impress them with?
That was probably I made ravioli 2 ways one night. And I made like a really nice cheesy ravioli. Then I made a dessert ravioli. One was like a cheesecake, and the other one was like a peanut butter chocolate banana filling. And they had delicious drizzles on them, and then I fried them up.
All right. I know you might have a previous engagement. Would you marry me?
Nah, let me check. No, she's still wearing the ring, man.
All right. Just thought I'd ask. Uh, when it comes to your style, so you're this you present as the dumb guy who says smart things. You got a little bit of the stoner logic. Uh, how quickly did you sort of find into that persona on stage?
I
Did you struggle for a little while, or how much has it evolved?
Yeah, I mean, when you're young on stage, nobody gives a shit what you got to say, right? Because it's more adorable than anything. Like I was 18 years old when I started. It's like, okay, tell me about life, young man. It's like, who gives a fuck? So that's like a challenging thing. But yeah, the more life experience you get behind you, the more comedy that you get to watch, the more you kind of get to build your own thing out. I think I always came across kind of dumb. I think I've just learned stuff, and you find your way and you find your place. And I make like little rules for myself. I don't want to make anyone feel shitty. Like I don't pick on anyone for bad things. Like if I tease someone in the audience, it's because they're very good looking, or it looks like they make a lot of money, or they're really well dressed. It's stuff that they're proud of, and then I make fun of myself too. You know what I mean? But I'd never ever want to make anybody feel shitty.
Hash the one. I think that's Hasher. He's a Montreal comic. Is going, hey,
Oh,
it's
let me
Ben
tell you
Miner.
about him. Let me tell this kid, man, is charisma personified. If there's like a comic that I would throw in a sitcom right now, this guy.
It's Hasher. Hey,
Asher's
Hasher.
amazing.
Now, when it comes to writing, like you obviously you read a lot. What's the what's your process when it comes to writing? Are you one of those people that does the morning pages? How often do you write? Do you actually schedule time every day?
No, I don't schedule time every day. I look at writing. This is like the cheesy hippie thing in me, and I could have certainly had times in my life to be more disciplined, but I've always looked at writing as like an organic thing for me personally, and I kind of look at it as like, let's say you're like in a village that gets by on a well. There's always water in the well, but it kind of ebbs and flows. And one day you go to the well and it's gushing. So you either let the water go to waste or you pick up some buckets. And those are times when I pick up buckets and I write and I write and I write and I write. And then it doesn't kill me if I go through like a little bit, because I know that I've got a bunch of shit out already. And I also try to have a lot of different things like on the go, idea wise, so that if something starts frustrating me, I can just move on to a different thing entirely.
Hasher's mentioning that you two have the same hippie writing vibe.
I
That's
wish.
you yeah, you wish. Well, he's saying that's his style as well.
No, I know. I'm
From
just saying this guy's like only a few years in, and he's just pure charisma. I'm telling you, when I saw him at that weed show, it just killed me.
Now I took a look. I couldn't find if you had a CD released.
No, I've never released a CD.
You've never released a CD, but you are somebody who's been encouraging a lot of comics to be releasing. And you've been vocal about it. I'm not saying just because of your work with Sirius XM, that you've been encouraging
Yeah.
people. You've actually vocally been telling people you need to get an album out, and you
Yeah.
need these are the tips and tricks you need to have. I hate to say tips and tricks, but these are what they're looking for when they're looking for radio play. 3 minutes, chunks,
I mean, there's
cuts
always
down to
exceptions to the
callbacks.
rule, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's like just be sensible about it. You need to be able to isolate the track. And yeah, as far as not releasing an album, whatever, do as I say, not as I do. You know what I mean? All good.
The greatest of teachers. There now, when the well is gushing, uh, where do you think it's coming from? What emotive kind of state is it? Is that in like the rougher times of your life, or is it in the happier times of your life?
Every time, every time. It's the universe, man. It flows. It's what it is. Sometimes you use it as a means to process shitty times. Other times it's just little things that pop in your head, and you're just like, okay, it's your surroundings. It's what you're experiencing in the moment. I think that comedy and writing is the best part about it. It's just it lets you like, man, if I didn't get to do stand up, I'd be arrested at the bus stop for just ranting on the street corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as somebody who's almost been arrested at the bus stop, I definitely agree. Hasher's saying when Ben told me that he wanted me on stage that very night, y'all had no idea how big a boost that a boost I needed. So you're out
Well,
there changing lives for people.
I just think it's all out of spite. You know what I mean? I think you got to be supportive to comics. I don't think anybody should have any time to tear anyone down. If you don't like someone, if you don't, vibe with them or whatever, you don't need to go around shit talking them. You could easily just kind of just promote someone else instead. Talk about what you like loudly instead of, crazily shouting out about the shit that bugs you. I don't think that serves any purpose. It only makes you look like a raving asshole. Meanwhile, if you could just go out and be like, you know what's awesome? Asher Ahmed, this kid Montreal. You know who's killing it right now? Rodney Ramsey with his virtual comedy clubs. I don't mention the shit I hate because it's not worth my time, man. Lion don't turn around when a little dog's barking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. That's you're taking the high road on all of this, and you're also promoting the things that you like. On that note, thank you very much for being on the show. Just to stress, though I noticed I didn't make it into your top. You didn't make a top 3 list of the things you were promoting. Just
Sorry, man.
all is good. It's all with the fun. Now, when you do write, what's your writing method? Are you a pen and paper guy? Are you one of those guys that uses the audio recorders? Or are you keyboard and screen?
None of them. I generally text my stuff to myself.
So, which is sort of keyboard and screen.
I
You're
guess.
texting.
But
You're
it's
texting.
nonsensical. It's like it's short form. And then I just kind of bang it around in my head and bang it out on stage. And you just kind of, it's like butchering a piece of meat. You just keep cutting away the shitty little parts until you got a nice, pristine cut.
In that process, are you only keeping it like in your head, or are you like updating what you've texted yourself, or are you speaking it out loud to try to kind of find the right verbal flow?
I got friends I'll run shit by. I also run stuff by my fiance. Generally, if it's about her, so she's okay with it. Um, but yeah, like John Steinberg is one of my go-tos. Tom Stade is one of my go-tos. Matt Billen. These are comics that, whenever we talk, we generally bang around bits. We don't talk just to bang around bits, but it generally comes up.
Yeah. Now, you mentioning John Steinberg was like your first go-to name that you mentioned, who's
Oh,
an
yeah.
amazing comedian. You came out of Ottawa. Now, Ottawa has its own certain flavor. It has a lot more originality than some other places in the country. Do you find that, or am I just extrapolating something
It's
from
made some
looking
good
at the comics that
comics.
have come out of there?
No, there's definitely been great comics. Like my generation in particular, I'm very proud to come out of that class, right? I mean, I was competing for gigs alongside John Doerr and John Steinberg and Casey Corbin and Jen Grant, Christina Walkinshaw, Steve Dillon. I could go on and on. There's a whole bunch, man. I don't think that people really acknowledge the great comedy that comes out of Canada nearly enough. And some of the people I mentioned get accolades, but then there's people that you came up with too. And I was just talking about this guy last night. Why doesn't Canada talk more about Dan Guterman? Like, Dan Guterman is the maybe, and
Executive producer.
I
Yeah,
say
go
this
ahead.
without hyperbole. He might be the greatest comedy writer in Canada's history. Let's see, he went from The Onion to Colbert Report to Community to producer writer of Rick and Morty. Am I
Yeah,
lying?
not
No, it's
lying.
all
And
true.
he slept on my couch. Like Dan Guterman is amazing talent, but it's work ethic. It's not just having the amazing talent; it's work ethic. He
It's
had a
everything coming
huge
together.
work ethic. Like
Absolutely, but he also had enormous talent as well.
yes,
Those two things coming together created a perfect storm, and I think he's literally helped create a voice for comedy worldwide. And
yep.
Canada does not recognize that guy. Man, Montreal's own. You can't name a bigger, more influential, more successful comedy writer of the last 20 years than Dan Guterman.
Dan couldn't wait to leave though. That's one of his things. Like
Canada stinks. Canada stinks, man.
Okay, Mike Gamash is saying great 50th show so far. Ben is a great interview. He's making it. It's not the easiest, but we're driving at it. And yeah, Hash, we did mention Community. Dan Guterman was faxing, like he never slept, so he would stay up late at night and he'd be writing headlines for The Onion, and he'd fax them. He like borrow, like he wouldn't tell his mother that he was doing it. He'd borrow her fax machine to fax out pages to
Wow.
New York to the Onion office until they offered him an internship, and then he went and he lived in New York, just scraping by,
Mm-hmm.
and then worked up to being. He was head writer of the Onion for a
I believe he
while.
was. He was the guy that
Yeah,
wrote the actual headlines.
yeah, yeah, Montreal's has a low key of a problem of not recognizing its own. It's true. It's like the Montreal the Quebec comedy scene very much has a star system in place for the francophone comics,
Mm-hmm.
which is great, and it's great for them. It allows them to have a living. Anglo comics, we can't really. There's not a lot of places to play off island if you're in Montreal, so you got to be touring. You got to be hitting Ottawa. Ottawa has a different flavor than Montreal, but yeah. So he when he did that, and then Barry Julian, which was the head writer of the Colbert Report,
Another guy. Yeah.
another guy, another amazing guy. He helped him get in onto the Colbert Report, and wasn't. I'm trying to think the Emmy Awards. Like seeing Dan up there on stage for the Emmy Awards with the entire Colbert team, and then he was off on Community, and then he was off, on Rick and Morty. It's just, yeah, Dan's an amazing guy. So
Staggering.
staggering. Are you saying I should have asked him to be part of this?
Oh,
I'm trying to
he'd be a
focus on
way better
stand-up.
gig. He'd be a way bigger get than me, man. I don't think you could book him.
Yeah, but he also was somebody who he struggled with stand-up. He didn't like being on stage. He
Which I
liked
get.
writing the jokes.
But he was great on stage. You just wasn't comfortable with it, I guess. But as someone who saw like a fair amount of Guterman coming up, I was never left wanting. He reminded me, like, I remember when I saw him, I was like, yes, Montreal Steinberg's here. It was that same kind of vibe where you just got excited, like, what's he going to do? What's he going to say? It not because it was shocking, just because I wasn't capable of writing like him. I wasn't like you go up on stage and it was this whole thing, man. And I get being uncomfortable and having anxiety in and around performing, but thank goodness he found a pen and pad and continued writing, because he's literally helped shape the voice of comedy in the last 20 years.
Yeah, no, most definitely, and yeah, just public transit. He lived on the West Island, so I lived on the plateau. So after any of the open mic gigs, we'd actually go back to my place because he didn't sleep, and I wasn't working. So it was like I didn't have to be up in the morning. So we'd be up all night, sitting on the couch till the metro opened, and he could head home. And Hash one saying, I won't say names, but venues, but this is going to be one of those negative things.
Yeah.
We know, and I feel I'll leave Montreal in 5 years or less.
Hash,
Uh,
smoke a joint, chill out, bud.
Take the time to learn and embrace, and don't leave on bad feelings. Like Dan did not leave
Nah.
on bad feelings. Dan left because he made an opportunity for himself
Oh yeah.
elsewhere, but he still was loved in this city.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. And he had a plan. That's the thing too. Like
yeah,
it's in nobody's best interest to do anything for you. That's an important thing to remember too. You got to figure I know that it's art, but it's also business. And how can you make yourself somebody that people want to invest in? And that's something I think of all the time that I've always thought of. And when comics ask me what they should be doing, should I even make a podcast if it's only going to get like 20 listeners? Yeah, make a podcast, even if it's going to have 20 listeners, and make it sound good, make it slick, have a bunch of great episodes, easy to find, so that when a producer is looking at you and saying, yeah, I wonder if this person is worth investing in, they see this track record of completion, of seeing things through. And the only thing it's missing is a promotional machine behind it to get the word out. So if you could prove you've got that go-to, that ability to see things through, you're good.
and the craft isn't just writing. The craft is also the skills necessary. Like, I got to thank StreamYard for allowing me to do this, because this is something that looks sort of slick. This will have way more than just 20 views or 50 views. This is the 50th episode, so I mean we're seeing where it's going, and we've got the audience interaction. Hash is chiming in, Mike Gamash is chiming in. But yeah, now I got loves from Montreal. We're
Yeah.
talking about certain places. That's all I got. People motivating me daily to rock the world. That I do.
I'm going to be
And Ben,
opening for Hash eventually. You watch, man. I'll be opening for him.
yeah, Ben is right. I got approached by a TV show from, where is that?
Nouveau?
Novovo, Nouveau, because of the character I sell, and that's it. I mean, all right, you've known me for a long time because I was involved with Just for Laughs,
Yeah.
and so it's understanding that like one of the frustrations for me was people who would go to Just for Laughs and say, "Man, I went to Just for Laughs and I got nothing." I'd be saying like, "Well, what did you do for yourself there? Like, were you promoting yourself? Were you just going there to do the show and not thinking about making that contact? Shaking the hands, introducing yourself to the
Mhm.
promoters, to the producers, and passing on a package, because a lot of time, people aren't. They're there, they're hanging out with their friends, and they're doing the shows,
Yeah.
expecting that the shows themselves.
Well, that's what we
That's
got
just the
agents too,
launch pad.
right? And like
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I think that not every great comic is a great promoter.
Mm.
And I know a lot of comics. I mean, we're just talking about Dan, who had like anxiety on stage and probably like in those similar surroundings in terms of like going out and schmoozing.
Yeah.
I know some amazing comics that can't schmooze, and I like it kills me that holds them back. And I think that's another aspect where Canada's lacking is slick agents. Like I'm lucky, I got really good agents. I got probably the best comedy agents in Canada. I trust them to work a room for me. There aren't a lot of those.
Who can we ask?
Yeah, yeah, Grand Wave Entertainment, man. Like they're they got Scott Thompson, Deb DiGiovanni, Dave Merhej, Graham Chittenden, like everybody. Just check
And
out their roster.
these are all these acts are people that are hitting the hot 10, the hot
Yeah,
100 lists of any like North American thing. So they're not focused on just promoting you in Canada. They're promoting you wherever they can.
yeah, no, they know
Uh,
what they're doing.
they know what they're doing. That's yeah. That in itself. This is why, like I'm an actor as well, so I don't mind it. Like having an acting agent is great because he's doing a lot of the work that I don't know how to do,
Hmm.
to get me work. And with the same thing with a comedy agent, they do all these wonderful things. Lynn is saying, "Oh, where did we go?" Lynn is saying comedians need more social marketing, and it was hard to find stuff early in the pandemic. It was, and that okay. This
I agree.
past year, you were you have SiriusXM. You
Mm.
have your show there. Is it Comic Stripped? I'm just
Yeah, I got Comic Stripped and I got Joint Ventures Cannabis Radio.
right. So you had those. Those weren't really affected by the lockdown, the pandemic?
No, but I took a break from Comic Strip because comics were too depressed for a little while and every interview was the same thing. So I just kind of let that simmer for a little bit because it was bumming me out. And I had another show that was every day at the same time. So I took a little bit of a break from that one. But yeah, just aired some repeats, but it's been airing brand new shows for a while now.
Now, how has the past year affected that? Like, what trends did you notice other than comics being depressed? Uh,
Uh,
Coming out of the what's happened in the past year.
I think that as scary as it is right now, it's ultimately going to be really, really good for comedy because it's going to create a new revenue stream that would have come along eventually anyway, but it's kind of been accelerated now. And seriously, I mentioned him earlier. Montreal's own Rodney Ramsey is leading the way right now. If you've seen what he's doing with these Zoom VR shows,
Yeah.
man, like I'm going to be doing one for them eventually. They're awesome. They look really fun and really cool. They don't seem static. And when I think of a live club, I think it's going to be the theaters that get hurt in the immediate future because those are all unionized venues where they have to have X amount of staff in that facility in order to legally run a show. And the facilities are prohibitive to run from a cost point to begin with. So if you can't sell out on a regular basis, you're going to lose money, and that's not a viable thing. So we'll see the Bill Burrs and the Amy Schumers and them drop down to clubs again for a little while. They're not going to want less money. So the difference will be geo-blocked like local streams. So in Burr Plays Montreal, everybody in that whatever radius will be able to stream the show for $5-10 at home, and everybody can see the show in person at a premium.
What about geo blocking to block? Like if they perform in Montreal, it's blocked in the Montreal area, then anyone around the world can see it.
No, that doesn't work because there's going to be limited seating at the venues.
Right.
In the post-COVID world. So let's say a club had 100 seats, it's now going to have 50. So the way to supplement that income is to have it geo-blocked within the city limits or whatever region. So then comics can still tour. So then they can tour and they can update their act for Kingston. They go and then they can do the same act with some little tweaks for Winnipeg. And it feels, you know what I mean? Like we do anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense because I know that
because otherwise we'd have to do a new hour like every month.
Yeah, Corey Mack was talking about the fact that she's already producing hybrid shows.
Yeah,
so shows that are with a live audience but are also streamed.
I think it makes sense. Shout out Corey Mack, Warrior. She's
Warrior.
Dope. Yeah, man.
She is. Yeah, she was episode 48.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been very lucky with all the people. And did we see this comment already from Hash?
No, Lynn mentioned social media and such. I'm with her. I mean, social media is what it is, and like I don't TikTok yet. It's fuck, man. I feel old. Like I'm on TikTok. Everyone's like, oh, you can do your workout stuff, your cooking stuff. I'm like, yeah, but now it's like another thing, and I'm already creating content every day, and
you get the Instagram, you get you're Ben Miner on Twitter, but you're a Ben Miner on Instagram.
Like, yeah, I didn't want to be the Ben Miner. Who's that? You know what I mean? Ugh, get over yourself. There's more.
Not Ben Miner comedy. I mean, your Instagram also has your workout, your diet stuff on there, as well as your life.
Yeah, man.
Your engagement is on that.
It's all over.
it's well, your life's not over. What?
No, I'm saying it's all over the place. Like my Facebook, it's all my life. Dear diary shit.
Now what? I got into it with somebody today about the importance of having a website. And
I don't like
have
websites.
A website, but it needs to be.
It's another thing. Yeah, I don't. Unless you're like Amazon or or something like that. I think websites are kind of done. Have it to have it, but social media is where it's at. You don't need to know any of the back end. You log in, you post your status. People are on it anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's something that people already are at. So you're seeing over the trends now. The other things that have happened in the past year. I mean, currently there's the George Floyd trial is happening, or the murder of George Floyd trial is happening right now in the States. There's been the Black Lives Matters movement. There has been Trump has been removed from the States.
He was?
Well,
I'm kidding.
He's been removed from the White House, at least. He hasn't been removed from the planet yet. What has been your take on everything that has happened in the past year as a comedian, but also as a human being?
I mean, as a comedian, I've never really gone down those particular paths. I think that I don't fault comics who do. I think it's you need a deft touch, and you need to be able to do it well. And I think you need to have a certain passion about it. And I don't think that I can speak to something that I don't have a real understanding of. I was just doing another podcast recently, and I was talking about, like, I get it. when comics, get upset with other comics for saying shitty things.
Yeah.
Because it's easy sometimes too. Like you're just being lazy. Like I wish I'm not above, like, I don't like the term you should always punch up. Nah, there's some fucking funny jokes sometimes that are being done in a manner which, if you look at the bigger, broader thing within the context of a larger bit, you see that they're actually making fun of that thing. But in that moment, it seems like a really like, oh my God, what a dick. But like, I got his picture back there. Patrice O'Neill was a king of that. Like,
Yeah.
there's nobody that walked those lines better. There's no comic more missed today. I think the comics need a lot of room to grow and to learn and to figure things out. And that was something when we were starting off, we could eat shit, no problem, and it would die that night.
Yeah.
Right. Unless like there was some psycho up on stage yelling the N word and F word, like not that F word, the other F, you know what I mean? Unless they're being true hate mongers on stage, it was going to get forgotten real quick. And it was chalked up to, fuck, he's new and stupid.
Yeah. Now every audience member is carrying a video camera.
But at the same time, there is room to be more sensitive. Like,
yeah.
Man, as a straight white dude in the last year, I've really tried to take stock of like my inherent privilege. And like, I didn't grow up rich or anything. By no means did I grow up rich. Single mom in like a shitty neighborhood. I got jumped a bunch when I was a kid, but I also never had any fear of going to the cops or any kind of systemic things. Or when I just look at the world right now, it's frightening some of the shit that people have to deal with just for being in the skin that they're in. You don't even need to do anything to someone to have them hate you and vocally hate you. And they've been emboldened by some fucking moron president. I've never seen such a generation of vocally stupid and proud people.
That's very well put. A question: you grew up French first, but were you fluently bilingual as a child, or when
Yeah,
did you
apparently. Apparently, I was bilingual since day one. And since I could chat, I could speak both languages.
Now, it's not in reference to the current prime minister, but there was a time that was called being a Trudeau's child.
I guess I would be.
Because he was enforced. I'm not saying anything about your mom and
she did meet Pierre Elliott Trudeau. She was a pharmacy tech, and his eye doctor is in the same medical building she was in, so she met him once.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, but the idea was he was the one that sort of pushed for that level of integration. Hash the one saying yet. All right, thanks. I'll put that in the replay. Mike Gamash is saying, I think there is fine precision needed to pull off, being the dick persona. And most people who attempt it just can't pull it off, and they look really bad trying. Sometimes the subtlety of you mentioned the subtlety of sarcasm is lost on some people. And it definitely doesn't come out in print as well. So
no, I think the comedy's hard, and I don't get why you want to make it any harder on yourself. But like, man, like your cheeky little bit, like where you say the N word, you're not doing anything with that. Like you're just like, look what I just did. Like there's a little dark spot in the front of your khakis right now, right? Like you can't believe you got away with this.
Yeah, I watched a Donald Glover clip about the only white person who can say the N word. Are you familiar with the bit or?
I'm familiar with Donald Glover, but I don't know the bit.
It's Charlie Sheen. He gives a reason why Charlie Sheen is the only person, because he actually referred to his ex-wife as the N-word.
Oh, geez.
See, so he's not applying it as a color thing. It's
okay. But yeah, Donald Glover can talk about it. That's a word that he's got, I don't know experience, but like he's got license to deal with that. It's not my place. Like there's a bunch of shit I can talk about. There's much shit I can't talk about. And if people get mad that I say I shouldn't or can't be talking about certain things, fuck, man, I've been doing this 22 years. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to be a dick on stage, and I don't think I'm smart enough to be provocative. So I kind of find my lane. I know what's right and wrong, and I don't want anybody to misconstrue cheeky bullshit for my endorsing their fucking hate.
Well put. And it's also the idea that somebody gets upset with you for something that you don't want to talk about.
It's so funny because this is like something that's current right now, but I've always sort of been like I know, I'm without naming names, being in rooms full of comics and somebody says something off color, like ironic racism shit, and then they all go, Ben doesn't like that, and then we're like, ooh, he doesn't like that, and it's one of those moments where you're like, hey, motherfucker, remember that a few years ago? Huh? Look at me in the eye. Look at me. Look at me.
There is, I know, it's something that I run into on occasion. Like when people say, "Well, why didn't you find that funny?" I'm saying because I didn't, because I kind of am knowledgeable enough about the history of what you're talking about to see you're being an idiot.
Well, I'm trying to even like get rid of some words that are like regular. Like I don't like the word bitch because I think it's if you're someone that regularly when you get mad at a woman you call her a bitch, I think you've got a bigger problem with women than that person as an individual being a fucking asshole in the moment, because that's what you would call them.
Yeah.
If they're being an asshole, you call them a fucking asshole. But if you don't, you're just saying, I don't like you, late. I don't know. Like it's such a gender specific thing. It's weak. It's a shitty fucking insult. You know what I mean? Listen, am I getting claps or are those little chickens? I can't tell. It looks like
those are applause. That's applause.
Okay, I thought it was like the red fins on a chicken's head. Yeah, I think that's a weak one. I also don't like telling people to suck my dick anymore because I don't think there's anything wrong with getting your dick sucked or sucking a dick. Instead, I'll tell people to suck my butt because if we could pass judgment on anyone, it's those who fucking wrap their lips around sphincters regardless, right? That's gross. You're eating poo maybe, but sucking a dick, all good. Go nuts. No judgment. That's a nice person.
Proud salad tossers out there that you're insulting at this point in time.
But I'm saying you can't get pink eye from sucking a dick. You can't get E. coli from sucking a dick.
I had a joke railing about the casual use of the B word. A good, oh crap, it's probably almost 10 years old. Just and seeing how crowds would react to that at the time. But yeah, these are it's weird how people react to your freedom of speech when they think you're trying to impede their freedom of speech.
Oh yeah, the most sensitive comics in the world are the freedom of speech people. It's so fucking funny when you make fun of them. They get so upset and they get all welled up and their hearts are on their sleeve, and it's like, but I thought I was allowed to talk about whatever I want and make fun of whatever I want. But how come when I point out that you're being a thoughtless fucking asshole, I'm the jerk? I don't understand comedy. Google me, dickhead. I know what I'm talking about.
More applause. More applause. Okay, so we've already touched a little bit on what you're thinking about the future and the fact that the future is going to have a lot of people are going to be integrating these live shows. What do you think about the sort of like, because there's now a ton of panel shows because stand up going.
It's great. More of that. We need more of everything.
More of everything.
More of everything. Like it's everything. We need more panel shows. We need more virtual shows. We need more comics of diverse backgrounds. I mean, it's like a shitty TV lineup when it's all the same person on the show. You know, like you want to get that different voice. Russell Peters changed comedy for me, and I saw him for the first time like 20 years ago. And I thought I was going to watch him and figure out how different we are, and you find that commonality. And I think that's where comedy is greatest, right? When we could find ourselves in people we never thought we could potentially relate with. And then all of a sudden, you're like, I was like, why did I ever think we were so like different? And I know it's a cheesy way of looking at it, but man, I think that there's so much more opportunity across so many different avenues now. And when like people get upset, again, I don't mean to pick on white dudes, but I feel like I got to talk to them a little bit and say like, just chill out, because it's not like they're getting rid of any previous things. There's only more services and more opportunities being added every day, and that people are consciously and thoughtfully trying to look for ways to make voices louder. It doesn't mean that they're muting yours. They're just adding more. It's a better built song.
You said that far better than I have. I want to thank you for that. Mike Mash is saying, I think there's a vast difference between what's funny and what's tasteless, but tasteless done well can be hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. And again, there's no fucking rules to this. Everything I say can be thrown out the window by a great comic with masterful skill. But I mean, There's very few Patrice O'Neills. There's been very few of those ever. Or George Carlin or Richard Pryor. These are like generational Michael Jordan of comedy types. Like,
yeah,
we're not that. Most of us aren't that level. And we got to accept that.
Left Turn. You just mentioned Michael Jordan. Space Jam 2. What was your reaction to the trailer?
Yo, why the fuck are the Droogs from Clockwork Orange there? I did not understand that. I get that they're doing like the broader Warner Brothers universe. Hey, I've never really considered them part of the Warner Brothers universe. So we're looking at everybody in the background. You're like Flintstones, right on, yabba dabba doo, right? That's a nice time. Whatever else shit you recognize, and you're like, those the murder fucking assaulty fucking dudes, the Droogs,
right in the front row.
Why are they there? Who let them in? No metal detectors, clearly.
Did they? They didn't use guns. Hash the one is
Knives.
My life motto: the more you suffer in life, the more you learn. And I did a weird thing. I set my camera up in front of the screen so I can keep a better eye line on you, and that's why I have to like dodge around to read these comments. So yeah. The more you suffer in life, the more you learn. Hopefully, and it just means the less you suffer in life, the more you have to work at learning.
Well, I think it's also like when you get successes, it's important that you remember where you were before those moments, right?
Yeah.
And you appreciate everything that you have. And I think a lot of times comics get caught up in the things that they don't have. And they get this tunnel vision of, fuck, this guy got that, or this guy got that, or this lady got that. And meanwhile, they're sitting in a house they own, they've got great credits, or, they've got like a million different wonderful things going for them, and they can never quite be happy. And that's a problem that I've known, that I've seen affect a lot of creatives. And I just wish it was easier for us to be happy.
Now, okay, there's two things I kind of want to unpack. The one is it's the evolutionary mind. The brain is remember strongly negative things. Because it's a learning process, as in, oh, that hurt you, don't do that again. That's why you remember it. If you're in a car accident or whatever, everything seems to slow down when you remember it again, and everything seems to be in slow motion. That's your brain's way of saying this was important, that you never do this again. So look at every possible angle. The thing is, when we have these positive things, they're only fleeting moments of happiness, and we have to sort of learn to adapt to
an extent. But there's nothing fleeting about like right now, right? Like my life in the moment. Yes. I can be bummed out and upset, and in the bigger, broader picture, I'm not a movie star, and I don't sell 10,000 seat venues out.
You got to be Puck, by the way.
Yeah, I got to be Puck. But I can also still be very happy that I've got a couple shows on SiriusXM. I've got a wonderful fiance. We've got a great place. We've got a beautiful life, and I've got a bunch of great shit going for me. And I'm in a place that I could have only hoped to be in when I was 18, going down this path.
Yep.
Could I be in a better place? Fuck yeah, I could. Am I satisfied? No. But I'm kind of happy.
That's not what I was saying. Is because you're recognizing it. See that you are spending the time to recognize the happiness that has come to you, and it's for some people though that's a skill that's hard to achieve. It's not evolutionary.
You got to work on it. No,
yeah,
it wasn't a default for me forever. It's something that you gotta, or I had to sit down and consciously remind myself of the good things that I had, because it's too easy to look at people, doing better than you and think that you're doing shit. Just because somebody's doing better doesn't mean you're doing badly. It just means they got something they wanted, and guess what? You probably got something they wanted too.
Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was the fact SiriusXM has done great things for Canadian comics, because one of the things about Quebec, they have that star system, they have like a lot of support, etc. SiriusXM is giving the chance to promote comedians by their names, not comedians by their brand, or whatever brand that they're working for. And do you think that has helped with the shift moving forward, and with such things as the Canadian Association of Stand-Up Comics in helping to build a star system for English Canadian comedians?
I mean, I can only speak to SiriusXM. SiriusXM is, we do our best to promote people and get the word out about people. We post clips, we post about shows when shows are happening. But I think the most beneficial thing that the channel provides on top of the promotion is, financial support for playing people's tracks. And it's not a hard barrier of entry, right? Like, I'm a pretty reasonable dude. I'm the guy that decides what goes on, and I really take my opinion out of it. It's not the Ben Miner channel. I'm not there to say what I think is funny. I'm there to acknowledge what I believe to be good comedy. And, if I don't like someone and there's a recording of them fucking smashing, well, I got to eat it and admit that I'm wrong and that my opinion isn't as important as that of the recorded room.
Hash the one is saying also a bit of a shroom always keeps the ego in check. A little
Yeah,
bit of
buddy.
self medication. It also keeps the depression in check. That was a study out of Montreal, using shrooms for
Oh, yeah.
to fight depression, microdosing, or the roast by a friend to cool down the ego. That's yeah. You got to make sure that your crew is keeping you realistic. You don't want just a bunch of yes men around you
Oh, yeah.
in your entourage.
You also don't want a bunch of negative people either.
No, you don't. But
You don't want bummers around you.
who's what's the term for it that like Julius Caesar had the guy behind him saying you're mortal. There's a term for it, I can't remember. Who's the person that keeps you most grounded in your life?
I don't know. My family have just generally been pretty good, and they didn't get impressed by anything I ever did until I told them I met Phil Esposito and that he worked at SiriusXM with me. Really? Tell us about Espo. Okay. And then when I started getting like good voice work, then they started getting impressed. But before that, it was always kind of like very supportive, but like, okay, like kind of like
We
it's
love
not
what
real
you're
work
doing with your
though.
little skits and
Yeah,
such. Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. There's where are you in the birth order?
I'm an only child.
You're an only child. That's right. I knew that.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, there now. For you, what are you hoping for in the future? Obviously, you've got the wedding that you're going to be planning. You have your shows on Sirius. What are you thinking about in the future?
Yeah, I want to go back to Europe. I want to go do another tour of Europe. That was amazing. I went in 2019. There's everybody told me about it before, and they were absolutely right. They love comedy there. I've never had people line up to meet me and take pictures with me and get autographs. And it's like, fuck, I'm nobody. Like they just liked me.
Where did you play in Europe? Did you get to Berlin or no?
No, I just went through the UK, from London to Wales. My first ever show in the UK was at the Leicester Square Theatre, right in downtown London.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
very
a
lucky.
yeah, that's a rough gig to play.
No, man, like I've got friends that have been very helpful. Like Tom
Tom
Stade
Stade.
is to me the most, unheralded comic to come out of Canada by Canada. This country doesn't say shit about him, and he's just the greatest, funniest fucking dude ever. Like, and
French
he
yes.
justify, yeah.
French yes to me. Well, like that was no. You've got Tom Stade. Tom Stade. Somebody yes. So
State
I
sells
love
out
French.
theaters in the UK.
Yeah, I took a 10-day vacation to Europe, and I was my girlfriend was living in Norway, so we were going to meet up in Berlin, and so she was very kind. I had arranged to do a couple stand up gigs while I was there, and the very first gig I did, I got asked to basically fill my week with all these other shows in Berlin. And at one of the venues outside was the poster of Tom Stade. It was Delisa Chapunda, who started in Montreal,
Yeah, I remember
but he's
Deliso.
now
He's
out.
killing it in London right now, man. He's like a
Yeah,
big deal in the UK. He blew the fuck up.
he did the UK's Got Talent, and
Yeah.
he made it to the semifinals. And Allison June Smith.
Yeah.
And it was I'm trying to think who the fourth comic was.
Dane Alexander.
No, it wasn't. Was it Tom Hills? Aussie guy.
Don't
Adam
know.
Hills, maybe.
Yeah, Adam
I'm
Hills is
trying,
an Aussie dude.
Yeah. And so there's a big poster for that for a show that they were going to be doing on Canada Day in Berlin.
Uh,
Yeah, Tom stayed in the bottom of his shoe.
well, Tom
Uh,
Stane's been like he's probably comedically, I'd say him, Mitch Hedberg, and probably it's my four biggest influences: Tom Stay, Mitch Hedberg, Mike Wilmot, and Kenny Robinson.
Kenny as well. Sorry, just
Yeah,
my
yeah.
love
You
for
know,
Kenny is no beat.
you gotta throw some heat down there, kid. You gotta just, yeah.
So also, by the way, anyone watching this, there is a past episode with Kenny Robinson on it as well. I'll be putting some clips up from the various comics on the Instagram as well. Trying to
Comedy
get
does not
people.
exist today in Canada without Kenny Robinson.
No, no, it does not exist at all without Kenny Robinson. I mean, there would probably be an effort to find a way.
There'd be a shittier version of it, but comedy as it is right now, with the quality of comics, the diversity of comics, the stages he provided, the doors he kicked down, from content to race to a million different things, man. Like comedy in Canada is in a way shittier fucking place today if Kenny Robinson never stepped on stage.
Speaking truth, speaking truth, the way you are. So what's your hopes though for? Are you actually? I know there has been the media blitz a little bit. People sharing the posts about you being Puck for a couple of
I would
flight
love that.
attendants.
Listen, if I could ever be cast in an MCU movie as Puck, that would be like the greatest thing that ever happened. I would absolutely lose my shit and run with it. I'd
I
be
know there was a
happy.
desire to be Wolverine as well.
Well, yeah,
But
that's not likely to happen. I mean, like, I'm height accurate. It is what it is. I'd love to be Puck. I would settle for anything in a Marvel movie. But realistically, I would love to sell a writing project. There's been a bunch of things that I've worked on that I've written. I want to, like you mentioned, the weight loss thing. That's something that I want to sink my teeth into more because I think I cracked the code for fat dudes. Uh, I
okay,
mean,
I'll need to ask you about. Uh,
yeah, I mean, I want to write a book. I've got bits and pieces that I've written floating around, but I kind of got to organize it and figure out what it is. But like, I cracked the code for fat dudes. You know what I mean? I was fat my whole life. I was a fucking, at my biggest, I was a 44 waist. Like, went, I could get into 28s, 29s now.
I okay. This is a weird thing. Is I've been up to close to 260, but I never passed a 42 waist.
Yeah.
So, but
5'4", man.
yeah. Well,
Round.
I'm 5'9", and it's even. I think I was at 190. Like 180 is I consider my best weight. At 190, I was told I was by the BMI I was clinically obese. But I
Yeah.
got a 29-inch inseam. I've got like short legs. I'm all torso, so of course I'm going to be
Well, the BMI
heavier.
is all bullshit. And like that hasn't been updated in years. If you're muscular, that'll tell you you're obese, right? Because
Yeah.
you weigh more than you're supposed to for the body mass index. There's a lot of things that are indicators of health that are way better than a BMI.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Though
it's all
right now
good.
I'm fucking obese, and I know it. And if you've got some final thoughts you want to share with people, what's your advice to new comics coming up?
Go see shows. Go see as many shows as you can. Getting up on stage is obviously very important, but not at the sacrifice of missing out on great comics performing on weekends, doing lengthy sets. You can only learn so much from short sets and watching people at your level. When you get to watch like headliners, even when there's shit, you learn what you don't want to be, who you know what not to do. It's important to just go through that process and have goals and set them right. Save your dreams for having superpowers and laser ball like eyeballs and shit, where you're firing out fucking like beams and shit. That's what your dreams are for. Having a good career in comedy or showbiz, that's a fucking goal. That is a viable thing. Work towards it.
Hash is saying watching shows can inspire so much. Here's a question: if you got a chance to see of doing one show and seeing a headliner once, or seeing the same headliner twice, what would you choose to do?
Like me headlining a show or watching a great headliner twice.
Yeah.
Oh, me headlining a show every single fucking time.
Well, no, not you headlining a show. You doing a show
Yeah.
like an open mic somewhere. We're talking about new comics. You doing an open mic and then watching a headliner once, or if you
Oh, no, no, no,
watching
no.
that
If there's a
headliner
great
twice.
comic in town, fuck that mic. Go see. Unless you're prepping for something big, and you need that stage time, then obviously do it. But if it's just like another fucking mic, and you're like, man, Kate Davis is in town, or like Chuck Byrne is in town, or Kenny Robinson's in town, fucking drop what you're doing and go watch those comics, man. They're really good.
And in watching them twice, I think you learn so much more like than just watching them one time, because sometimes when you watch them once, you think something's off the cuff and you
Well,
don't
that's just
learn
it.
that it's
Like the
not.
first time I watched Tom for a whole weekend, I saw him on that Thursday, and I was just like, I could barely breathe, just dying, laughing, being like, oh my god, like how is he doing all this? Next night, it's like 60-70% the same. These little moments were still like, he's still riffing, don't get me wrong,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's you're just like, fuck, he's been in control this whole time. Whoa, okay. All right. And that's when I kind of got that feeling where, like, I think comedy is my favorite when people think it's all being made up on the spot.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like having a set list. I have a lot of different jokes, and then I kind of try to find them. I'll dip into the crowd a little bit, and I'll find the bit, and then I think it's spontaneous. And then, like, whenever, like, we have those interactions with audience members, and then we get home that night, we're like, fuck, I wish I would have said that. You're a fucking plumber, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I remember all those little things, and I got this Rolodex in my head. And
So
some comics
you have the answer for the next time it happens.
yeah, and I mean, as a standalone bit, they're dog shit. But in a split second, when you find that in the audience, and it's just like, what do you do for a living? I'm a teller, bank or fortune. Boom! It's just
Oh.
like, holy fuck, that was really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. David Pride is another guy with that as well.
Oh, he's one of these comics that makes me feel lazy and not very bright. I watch him, and it's like, man.
All right, Mike Gamash is saying BMI has sumos being morbidly obese, and those guys are as fit as fuck. Hash is saying he was lucky to watch Sugar Sammy 2 weeks in a row.
Sugar Sammy's a killer.
And he learned a lot. Yeah.
He's another guy I started off with, kind of. I remember back in the day, Montreal, coming up to do gigs and seeing young Sammy, kicking around, doing his thing.
Sammy, he started out well, he was a club promoter, so he was always bringing a crowd, which helped him get more stage time because producers.
Unlike most comics, Sugar Sammy has been cool. Like, he's always been a cool, like, affable, knows how to conduct himself dude.
Yeah, most definitely. I cannot deny his talent or his work ethic, and both those things sort of got him to where he
killer.
is.
He's an absolute killer. International headliner. He's got like 500,000 followers on Twitter. It's fucking mind-boggling.
I was gonna mention, this is like a really old reference, but you're talking about the people who go into the audience and being in control when it seems like everything is spontaneous. This is an old reference, but it was watching him a couple times in a row. Mike Bullard.
Yeah, Bullard, I guess. I never saw him live. I heard that he was good in that capacity. He's one dude that I literally have never seen perform live. Of all the comics in Canada, I think I've seen 99.9% of them. He's that 0.1% I've never seen.
It destroyed the illusion seeing him twice, fairly close together, because then I realized that, there's always somebody in a colorful shirt. There's always a bald guy. There's
that's
always
lame.
somebody with
I
an
don't like
annoying
that.
laugh.
I don't like that.
But he has this overarching story that he needs all of them.
Yeah.
And he just weaves those stories in together.
It's a style and it's cool and everything, but
it's
like
an old school style kind of.
I get what you're saying. You feel ripped off. You see it the second time, you're like, oh, I'm the stupid shirt guy this time.
Yeah.
So what if there's no one with the stupid shirt? Yeah, one of those acts. And then, like, if you're an audience member, the second time you walk away thinking, like, what if everyone's really well dressed in the crowd that night? He's going to be fucked if there's nobody in a dumb shirt.
But it's Canada.
Yeah. He did well
talking
for a
about
while.
dumb shirts, I just wanted to do a little shout out to some local boys who did up this logo based off of the old Comedy Works logo.
I was going to say, I thought that was a Comedy Works shirt.
Yeah, that's Zach Kick did this up. John Ray printed it. So these might be limited edition. I don't think any more are available, but if you bug them enough, they'll probably get some more printed up. So there's that. And I want to also throw to StreamYard, who they give me the equipment to allow me to do this show. So
Beauty.
these are unpaid promos that I'm just doing for people who,
Mhm.
make it easy for
Nice.
me to fill this time during the pandemic.
Dig that,
Uh,
man.
do you have any final thoughts before we go? We just hit an hour.
Yeah, man. Sail by.
Just what effortless talking with you, man. I miss
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
I miss
I
you.
missed you too, man. I can't wait to go back and do gigs in Montreal. It's one of my favorite cities anywhere. I mean, comedy audiences get it there, through Just for Laughs and the clubs. They've been trained, pretty much better than any other audience to get comedy. And then when you're not on stage, you've got the beauty of being able to eat wonderful food and buy beers and walk around in them in brown paper bags. The weed is difficult to come by, and their laws are a bit archaic when it comes to that. But yeah, I can't wait to go back to Montreal. I can't wait to get back to gigging and show my girlfriend, show my fiance this
Show
lovely
your life
life.
partner. Show
Yeah,
your life
and
partner.
for many years I've been able to do some cool shit and go to cool places, and I've generally done all this alone. And I'm very excited to be able to share comedy and all the many blessings it's provided to me with my girlfriend. And I hope that if anyone's out there, hoping to find themselves in a happy place one day, just remember I was a 320-pound, slobby, doughy. I looked like a poorly stuffed sausage that fell on a barbershop floor. Never thought I'd find love on top of that. Fucking fit as shit now. My fiance is smart. She's a psychotherapist. She's an artsy person. She's an actor. She's a painter, singer. She's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. If I could fucking turn it around, you can too, man. So go give it.
Ben Hash is saying that he's got some great weed people, so don't worry.
Guaranteed he
Uh,
does.
Mike Gamash is saying great show.
Thanks,
Uh, I
Mike.
want I want to thank everybody who tuned in. Ben, I definitely want to thank you as well. For anyone who's watching, please make sure you hit the like, hit subscribe if you want to see any more of these type of interviews onto the YouTube channel and the back episodes. If you go down there to the link tree, you can follow that. So it's linktr.ee/Paul Ash. You can watch the back episodes. There's 49 more episodes of They Talk Funny that has happened before this. Some
Boom.
amazing comedians. And yeah, just remember, everybody, I love you all. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thanks.